Hey, Richard Knutson here again, and in this session I want to show you a pretty cool trick that you can use to simplify the user experience in Dynamics CRM 2011. In particular, what I want to do is give users the ability to update information contained in fields on a parent record from the context of a child form. The idea being to not force them to have to open up forms all the time. So in the example I'll show you here, I'll use an opportunity form and give users a little section on the form with information from the account record type so they can update that information directly on the opportunity form without having to close it or switch to another window or anything like that. And it's a pretty cool technique, and it's actually pretty simple. I'll do it with just a couple of easy schema customizations and workflows, and here's what it's going to look like. So here's the context. Let me open up an account form in a pretty much uncustomized Dynamics CRM. This is the sample database, so here we are looking at A-Store. What I want to be able to do is from an account record, create a child record like opportunities, although the same exact technique could be applied to any child record. I look at the opportunity form, so I click Add New Opportunity. I want to be able to update account information directly from here without forcing a user to interrupt their flow of work, go to a different window, or anything like that. So from what I'm going to do, just to show you how you might take advantage of some of the other cool features in 2011, is use a new feature, and that is the ability to create multiple forms for a single entity. And I've already got a little head start here. You can see I'm on the opportunity form, pretty much uncustomized. Here's the information, which is the default form, but I've created another version of this form called includes account information. And if I have multiple versions of a form for a record type, you'll see this form selector here, assuming that you have a security role that lets you access. What I've done here, so I've created this includes account information version of the opportunity form, is exactly the same, except down here I want to have a section for my account information, and this form is not published yet, so let's go customize it and I'll show you what this looks like. So I jump into customization mode right from the opportunity form ribbon, and down here you can see I've got this account information section that I've already added. And the first thing that I want to do is to create the fields on opportunity that I'm going to effectively use to map information back to the parent account record. And what I'll do is simply do in-place customization here. I'm customizing the version of the opportunity form that includes account information. So I'm in the right form. Now I'll click New Field here. And before I start creating these fields, I probably need a plan for what the field names are going to be and their data types and things like that. So I did a little bit of pre-work and decided that these are going to be the fields that I want to map back from opportunity, updating the information on account. So main phone, the website, address, street 1, city, state, province, zip code. I've got all the right data types and the maximum sizes for these records. And what I'll do, I'll show you how I'm going to do one, and then I'll do the rest of them by myself so you don't have to watch the boring stuff. I'll take this main phone field and I'm going to give it the same display name here that it has on the account record, and I'll make everything else the same too. Single line of text. It's got a maximum length of 50, and I'll pause the recording while I create the rest of the fields, and then we can pick it back up again. Okay, I've created the field, and now what I want to do is to go down to the account information tab on the form, and to the section contained in that tab I want to add all of them. So here are the address fields. So here's street 1. Drag that out and drop it there. So those are the 6 fields that I wanted to map. So now if I do a save and close, and do a save and close, then we'll publish changes to opportunity and reopen the form so we can see the new customized version of the opportunity form. Here we are on the right version of the form that includes account information. Click account information. Now I've got a nicely defined little section here that I'll show you now how to hook this up so that two things happen. The first thing that I want to happen is that when I create an opportunity record from an account record, from the parent, create the child, I want these things to fill in automatically with the values contained on the account record. That can be done with a customization called mapping, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. The second thing that I want to do, allow a user to change one of these fields on the child record that is in the opportunity and have it go back and update the account information. We'll do that with a workflow. But let's do the first one first. So I'll open up an account form, and I'll do a nice in-place customization trick here, customize the form. And I'm going to take advantage of the ability to customize navigation and the fact that navigation exposes from a parent record all the one-to-many relationships to the child record. So let's double-click on the navigation area. I can either do that or click on the navigation link, but I'll just go ahead and double-click it. Then, if I double-click Opportunities, open that, it's pretty cool because if I click on the Name tab and then click on Edit, I can actually get to the specific definition of this one-to-many relationship from account to opportunity. This is much easier, by the way, than in Dynamics CRM 4.0 because you had to go through the interface there that exposed all of the relationships that account had to everything, and it wasn't obvious which one you could customize, but now this is the only one that's exposed on the form, so you know which one to customize. In this case, what I want to do is add some mappings. So notice by default there's only 3, but I'm going to add 6 more so that I can map those other 6 fields. So I get that initial data fill when I create an opportunity record from the context from the account form. So I'll click New, and I'm going to select each of these. The first few are easy because it's going to be things like address, one city, and all that. They'll be in the same place. So city goes to city. And you have to be careful here. You have to, with your mapping, you need to make sure that the target, that is in this case the address one city on opportunity, it can't be shorter. It can have fewer characters in it than the source field does. There's city. And let's get address 1, line 1. So on and so forth. I'll do one more and then I'll pause while I do the rest of them so you don't have to watch the whole gory exercise. We've got state or province. Here we are. So I'm going to repeat that exercise for the rest of them. Okay, I'm done with my custom mappings. Look like this, got everything properly mapped. So I'll save and close. Close the relationship properties dialog. I'll go ahead and save and close the form customization environment and publish the entity. Then we'll test it. Go ahead and refresh the form. So I'm on the count form here. You might want to be careful if you do this to make sure you've got those fields filled in on the account form just so you can verify that you got the mappings right, because that can be a little bit tricky first time you do it. So here we've got one that got all that information filled in. If I go make a new opportunity, so I click on Opportunities, add a new opportunity, Dynamics CRM will remember the version of the form that I had last time I had the opportunity form open. So here I am, and if I click down on the account information section, you can see that all my fields are filled in from the parent. So that's that one-shot mapping experience that you get out of the box with, say, account and contact for some of the address and basic fields. The problem with this, although it's nice to have this information here to see it maybe, it doesn't give me the ability to update this information if I want to and have it update the account. So we've accomplished our first task, but now we have to accomplish the second one. I'm not going to save this opportunity. But now, what I want to do is create a workflow that will update account from opportunity. So I'll go to Settings, Processes, And I'm going to create a new one, and this is going to be a workflow. So I want this thing to run automatically, which is the province of a workflow. And it needs to be written on the opportunity record type. I'm going to be very explicit, and I'm going to call this update account from opportunity. And you go ahead and click OK, and I get the workflow design environment here. I'll go ahead and give this a scope of organization so that it's going to run automatically for anybody in the organization. And I don't so much want it to run when the record is created. What I want it to do is run when record fields change. So I'm going to use this trigger right here. It's an important trigger to understand. And what I want here is to trigger it when any of those fields that I want updated on account from opportunity are changed. So there's those 4, and then I've got the zip code, the website, and main phone. So those are the 4 address fields: phone and website. So we won't do that for now. So I'm going to minimize this to do that. But what I want to do here is add one step in the step editor, and all it's going to do is update a record. And the interesting thing about this is that while the default is to update the opportunity record, what I want to do is update the account record. And I'm going to update the potential customer account record, which I can get to because the workflow engine understands everything it needs to about the parent record from the context of the child. It doesn't work the other way around. I couldn't update an opportunity record from its parent account record from a workflow running on that, but I can go this way. I can go back up. So if I click Set Properties here, this would be pretty straightforward. I'm going to use dynamic values and simply fill in every one of these fields from the field on the child record. So I'm going to position the cursor in Street 1, go over to Look For. I'm going to update from opportunity, and this is address Street 1. Do the same thing for city. Same thing for state, province. And it's nice and easy, since that's why I was careful to name them like that, so I don't get confused about that. Here's my zip postal, website. I'm going to pop in there. And main phone was the 6th. So now, if I do a save and close, I'll give it a nice verbose description here. Click Save and Close. I'll activate it. Now, it'll work. So let's walk through this. I'll go to an account, we'll go to A Store, and I'll create a new opportunity record. Being careful to use the right version of the opportunity form, which, if I select the standard information version of the form, notice there's no accounts tab on the left hand side here because the tab's not on this form. But if I use the right form, I click account information, I can see that my mapping kicked in and has now fixed that all up. Create a test opportunity, $100,000, save and close. Now, show you how this thing works. Time passes and information changes, and suppose that this information is no longer, maybe something's changed, the address has changed, or maybe the website's changed, whatever it might be. I am later working with opportunities, and I'll open up my little test opportunity that I created there, go down to account information. So now I can change information from here rather than having to go back out, navigate to the account form, do this, go click on A Store, open up a second form. And even if I did this here, remember that mapping only fills in once. So if I update this information on the account form here and save and close and then expect it to be updated here, it doesn't work like that. But watch what happens if I make changes from here. Turns out that they moved from 1745 North 128th in Seattle to 899 Vernon in Winnetka, Illinois. Keep the website the same. Change the main phone. Save and close. Then what's going to happen there is the workflow is going to kick off, And the workflow can go back up the entity relationship chain of command, go grab the account record. In this case, it's going to be, I believe, A store, and you can already see that the workflow kicked in. If I go to A store, there's all my nice new information. There's 899 Vernon Winnetka, so we successfully updated that information on the parent record from the context of the child. You can also see it here if I go to the test opportunity and click on workflows. I can see that the workflow successfully ran and did just exactly what I wanted it to do. Notice that in Dynamics CRM 2011 we even have this extra information that might be useful for troubleshooting on the system job form. So it tells us that the workflow was triggered by a record field changed, and it didn't have to do any retries, and it tells us what record it ran for, and I can click on view properties and it's going to tell us here's the fields that it updated from that child record. So this is a pretty good little trick. It works pretty well. You might ask yourself, how would I manage it if the opportunity was created from a contact record instead of from an account record? There's a couple strategies for that, and I'll cover those in another session. But for now, let's just suppose that your business process is going to always have your users create opportunities from the context of the account. You can remove opportunities, by the way, from the contact form. It's a relatively simple thing. If you wanted to prevent users from being able to do that, you just open up a contact record, go into form customization. Not that this will be 100% foolproof, but this will get about 90% of your false positives. So supposing your business process, you really just want to only create opportunities from account, go to the contact form, click opportunities, and remove it. It's not on the form, so users don't see it. Maybe that'll keep them from creating too many opportunity records anyway. Save and close and go ahead and publish that. So there you have it. Easy, no-code way of updating fields of information on the parent record from a child record without having to navigate to a different form. So again, Richard Knudsen signing off here, and I hope you found that helpful. If you did, you will likely like my new book, Building Business Processes in Dynamics CRM 2011, coming out in July of 2011. And I encourage you to find out more information about that and other stuff of interest on my blog, dynamicscrmtrickbag.com. Thanks again.